James Luyinda Miti, in this very book of yours, 90 Days in Hell, what guides that title?
The 90 days, the hell is the time we spent in that place of hiding.
How were you caught up in the genocide?
I used to work in Kigali in the Kagera Basin organization. It was around 5. All of a sudden, power went off. Now, when power went off, we started looking for where to go to watch this match from. Then somehow we ended up in the residence of the Tanzanian first secretary at the Tanzanian embassy. Then we had 2 explosions, 2 distant explosions. Then Mwanga said, oh, poor Tutsis, they have been shot at again. Then Peter, the Tanzanian, said, you Ugandans, you are so naive. You can't differentiate between a big gun and a grenade. Immediately, the houseboy came to the main sitting room where we were seated, and he said, Patron, that means boss, mumesikia habari? Patron, Peter said, which habari? Wanasema ndege the president's plane has been shot down on its way from Tanzania. Peter said, what? From my country? He said, yes. Where was it shot down? He said, at Kanombe Airport. So we started making calls, and all people we called were confirming that the president's plane had been shot. And not only Habyarimana had been killed, but also the the president of the Republic of Burundi, who was also on a lift from, I think it was Dar es Salaam.
And then the massacre started, the bloodletting massacre.
Now there was a very bad radio station called RTLM. It was an extremist Hutu radio station. They were saying, now you Hutus, we told you a long time ago, the Tutsis are going to finish us all. They have now started with the biggest Hutus in the 2 countries of Burundi and Rwanda. Habyarimana is dead, and I think he was called, I don't remember the name, he's also killed. So now it is up to you to turn against any Tutsi neighbor or friend or any Tutsi person you see, kill him. Big Tutsi. Secondly, opposition Hutu. And thirdly, Ugandans. And we were among the targets. We were saved by just by mere luck that we had been not in our house. We were hiding in the Tanzanian embassy, and the Tanzanian first secretary got us fake travel documents to state that we were Tanzanians.
Did they come to that embassy to look for you?
They would very regularly come to our home and ask, Tanzanians, have you seen any Tutsis around? We said, no, we haven't. Have you seen not even a Ugandan? We said, no, there are no Ugandans living here. They said, okay.
Describe for me the kind of people, the picture that you saw that time.
The youth wingers of Habyarimana's party, which was called MRND, they were called Interahamwe. Those were the most dangerous civilians at that time. On 2 or 3 occasions, they came after they had just killed Tutsi people in the neighborhood, and their machetes were still glittering with blood on them. On other days, on most days, they had very bad faces, showing the anger they had against any Tutsi, against any Ugandan.
Did you have like any Tutsi friends at that time who were attacked and killed?
Yes. I particularly remember my former neighbor in a place called Remera. Remera is near Amahoro Stadium, where Amahoro Stadium stands today. My neighbor, unfortunately, he was a Tutsi, but most unfortunately, he had the name Kizito. So these people said, this Tutsi Kizito, Kizito is a Ugandan name, but he had been named Kizito because of Saint Kizito of the Ugandan martyrs. So they killed him. Now when another Tutsi who I knew was our tennis trainer at the Amahoro Stadium Tennis Club. We called him, we asked him what was happening in his area. He said, this place is being, it seems we are surrounded by soldiers, and poorly, unfortunately that boy didn't survive also, because the story we got after the genocide was that he was found in his house and he was herded along with other Tutsis and was buried alive.
At that time, what was running on your mind?
What was running on our mind was to get away from Rwanda, but it was impossible to go away because we knew that the public knew us as Ugandans, and if you are a Ugandan, you had the same sentence as a Tutsi. You had to die, because they were saying if there were not, it was not for Uganda, there wouldn't have been Rijema, there wouldn't have been Kagame. So you are in the same boat and you have to die together.
In this very book of yours, 90 Days in Hell,
Yes.
there is a part where you describe how you survived a rocket.
Every time I would use a matchstick, the sigiri, the fire would hold, and then it gets blown off. So I said, let me go back to the house and get a candle, and I use that candle for relighting the fire anytime it gets extinguished. Now immediately I moved away from that stool, a rocket came and landed on the stool, which meant that somebody was watching us from a distance